I think I spelled Tiza wrong here. Tiza. Okay. So, hello, welcome. If you're just tuning into the VOD, my name is Rockalockalili, and this is now my third video in a sequence where I made a post on Reddit on the Summoner School subreddit, which you guys should check out if you haven't yet. It's a good place to get some help, or if you're a pro, or if you just want to help people, you could help others. So, not to say I'm a pro, because I'm definitely not, but anyway, so today I will be looking at a replay that Tiza submitted around 1300 elo as Vayne, and I'm just going to watch the replay. I'm going to comment on things he can work on, things he can do better, and so on. So, I'm just going to go ahead and get started and pull that up. Let's see here. I thought I already clicked this. Oh yeah, I gotta... Okay, I tried. That's not good. I don't want a general exception error. My little replay seems to be like really buggy sometimes, so I don't know what's up with that, but we're just gonna keep trying I guess. Alright, I think we're good. It says downloading now over here on my second monitor, so. Funny story about Tiza, I've known him for a little while. At one point in time, there existed a thing called a Reddit League, where some ambitious Redditors decided to make a league. People could form a team, they could put their name on a draft list, and get drafted onto a team, and make a team to play in this Reddit League. Unfortunately, it collapsed and kind of died. The moderator and admin crew kind of just stopped doing anything, and Tiza and I both, towards the end of the league's lifespan, were like, whoa, make us moderators, we'll try to help. And then we ended up just not having enough time to run the league ourselves, so the league died. So I've known Tiza for a while, because we both were like, hey, we'll help keep this thing alive, and then decided it wasn't worth it when no one else was helping us. So known Tiza. Tiza's a good guy. I'm excited to do this replay for him. And yeah, so if we look at the team comps, looks like it's going to be Sona, Vayne, bottom lane against Soraka, Graves. So in general, Graves is supposed to beat Vayne, so Tiza's already at an advantage there. Sona's a really strong laner though, so at least he has Sona to give him some support. So the thing with Soraka Graves is like they have so much armor and so much sustain that it's going to be really hard to kill them. So Law Replay is going to go crazy here in the beginning. It's got to like catch up to the loading screen or something, I think someone said on Reddit, so thank you for whoever said that. Let me check my webcam placement. It's a little big. Shrink that up, put it right there. Okay. Yeah, and the background's blurry in my webcam, because like my apartment's really messy. I'm embarrassed about it. Don't want you guys to see. So, wow. Okay, so the other team is just being stupid. I like Tiza. Thank you for letting me who to ignore early. That's always a good call. Ignore trolls. Just in any game, just ignore your trolls. So. And this is good. Anytime you're bottom lane, you always want to give your jungler a huge leash. So you see how Tiza didn't leave until the blue buff had like 600 HP, and that's the way to do it. Like, it was such a good leash, I don't even think Udyr needed smite. So, yeah, that's good. Yep. So we'll just see how the laning phase goes. I'm actually probably going to unbind the camera for this so we can see the whole lane. So we see, this is, Sona has big level 1 damage, so you see she just Q power corded that Soraka and took her down to half HP. One thing to note is that it's pretty standard for supports to start the Fairy Charm potions wards. Is that 1 ward and 4 potions? I can't really tell, but if it is, that's unusual. Normally it's like 3 to 4 wards, and then 1 or 3 potions, depending on how many wards. But the Soraka only started 1 ward and a regrowth in it. Oh, that's really good. That was a really good play by Tiza to jump on that Soraka. So that's one thing with Vayne. In general, Vayne's laning phase is very weak. unless you can land condemns. If you can condemn an opponent, it's huge burst damage, and it's really easy to actually kill people if you condemn them early, like right there. If this Sona was on the same page as Tiza and was just in range of that Soraka for like 1 auto attack or 1 Q, that's a very dead Soraka. So that's one thing to watch whenever you're laning with a Vayne. You always want to realize where Vayne's going to pin opponents and be in position to follow up on that. Or if you're playing Vayne and you're playing with... in general, when you're playing Vayne in a lane, you want to try to position yourself so that condemn's always a threat. So like Graves is up here, so Tiza should move down here so that condemning up into this area is a threat. This is especially important if you're laning with someone like an Alistar who can headbutt Pulverize, or Taric who can stun. Like, say this Sona was a Taric right now, Tiza would want to be down here too, so that when Taric stuns and they're up here, Tiza can maybe tumble and pit. So that's one thing. Vayne, in lane, you always want to be very aware of your positioning with respect to walls and angles with your opponents. So yeah. It's still a little sad that that you didn't pick up that kill. If that Sona was on the same page, that's definitely an easy kill. So I'm also going to talk a little bit about ward placement right now. I don't like this ward very much at all. If you're bottom lane on purple side, like they are right now, if you ward this, the Tribush, and right here at Dragon, you will see everyone coming into your lane, and that's all the wards you need if you're staying pushed up. The only other place they can gank you is walking through the lane. So if you're purple team, those are the 2 things you need to have warded, because you ward Dragon, you ward this Tribush, you have full sight of Dragon and everything. Alright, good flash, good reactionary flash. So I know in my first lesson the other day with Hydroponic Moth, that was one thing I talked about, being able to react fast enough to dodge skill shots, and that was a good reaction from Tiza to dodge that smoke screen. But way too aggressive. Vayne and Soraka is not a lane you want to be, Graves and Soraka is not a lane you want to be aggressive on as Vayne. You saw how he pretty much just kicked your ass. If you don't land a condemn, you don't want to go in. And you don't want to trade hits. It's just not worth it. You're going to get out-sustained, so if you don't kill them, they're going to heal up a lot faster than you are, for a lot less mana. And Graves' damage and burst and tankiness, everything is just better than Vayne's early game. So you want to try to avoid playing that aggressive with Vayne. Though if you can land a condemn, go for it. But otherwise, don't play very aggressive. Alright, and I see you leveling condemn. I think Vayne's one of the champions in the game. I think that you can really get away with leveling whatever you want. I think every single ability of hers is strong to level. Condemn's fine. I prefer to level Tumble. It gets you a little... I think it reduces the cooldown. But regardless, against good opponents, you're not going to get many chances to successfully condemn them into walls. And that's why I don't like leveling condemn. Tumble gives you much more reliable damage. And, you know, if you like Tumble crit someone, it's so much damage, it's a lot of fun. If you triple silver bulk proc, Tumble crit, it's a lot of fun. But it's not bad to level Eon Vayne. I think it's fine. It works out fine. But Tiza, I don't know if you ever try it, but you could definitely try to level Q and see how that goes for you. So that right there, that was a really good trade. If it wasn't a Soraka lane, that's a good trade. Tiza, you rolled out with a tumble, got the Q and ran away before Graves could react, and so you exchanged a tumble damage on Graves for 0 damage on you, and that's really strong. See, and that was good again. You just right-clicked this Graves once and then backed off, and you got free damage on that Graves. But here, he just got free damage on that Q with you. So one thing that you could do is, against a Graves, is always try to stand like maybe where the Sona is or up here, so that he chooses, he doesn't Q both the minion wave and you. It's kind of like playing against a Mordekaiser. Or alternatively, like your lane's pushing right now, and if you don't want it to push, do stand in your minion wave, so that if you get queued, Graves is going to push. It just depends on... So this is an aspect of lane control. This is one way you can manipulate the lane into where you want it. So, yeah, okay, so he's pushing back now. So this is one thing that a Soraka lane will do to you. If you're too aggressive in trading hits, your lane is just going to get lower and lower and lower until you have to go back, and that's exactly what's happened here. You're trading hits pretty evenly, but because they have Soraka and you have Sona, it's not working out well for you. They're like full health and you're almost dead. Oh, that was very close. Good use of Tumble though to dodge that. Yeah, that was a mistake. When you're that low health, like 100 to 200, just back. Just leave. It's not worth it, especially against a Graves. You know has big burst damage. I mean, even being like right here, Graves could E and flash into like 3-shot Q range and just insta kill you. So that's something that was very aggressive and definitely a mistake. And I'm sure that was one where you do that and you're like, oh, why did I do that? But that's fine. Just in general, anytime you get low, you're gonna want to do that. Okay, and here's one thing. So Sona's saying like, we don't need wards because they're pushing up to our base. And that's not true, because you can still get ganked up here. And in fact, this is the most dangerous gank, because what a good like opponent mid lane or jungler can do, they can come around here, sneak into this brush, and if you're really pushed up, sneak into this brush. So as soon as like Tiza would step out here to last hit, it just instantly get jumped on by 3 people. So yeah, and here's why I don't like leveling Condemn. You've used Condemn, I think, twice in the last 5 minutes. I think 3 times the entire game so far. And that's why I don't like Condemn. And there we see the strength of Graves. He's just like E and Q. I like how the Uter's like, bot, how are you losing? Because Graves Soraka beats Vayne Sona, but that's okay. If we look at CS, 62 to 70, you're actually last hitting very well. That's pretty good, especially considering they're pushing up to your turret. I haven't been like watching your last hitting, but it's been good. Okay, so that right there. Okay, Sona is probably gonna die for that. Okay, so I do want to talk about that. That right there, you missed your chance. You could have condemned that Soraka on this wall in turret, but I think you're either tunnel vision on last hitting or just didn't see it in time. And so, and then you got way too greedy. I mean, maybe trading 1 kill for 1 kill is okay when you're Vayne, but that was very risky play. If you had more of a heads-up play, and this is what I go back to talking about positioning in lane with Vayne, you see that they were close to this wall. So if you were over here, that's an easy condemn. But you're up here last hitting, so you'd have to tumble or really get into a different position to condemn that Soraka. But if you were watching your positioning from the start, then you could be over here, and it's an easy pin. And this is a good point. Tiza saying that misread the MP on Graves for buckshot, but like Tiza was so low, like it doesn't matter. Tiza was gonna die just from Grave right clicks. And I will say the Sona ult came really late. Like maybe if Sona ulted earlier, she could have saved you, but still. And then one thing, you can never trust like MP bars with a Soraka in lane because she can just give people mana. Level 6 Warwick ganks are pretty brutal. This is not gonna be good. I mean, one thing you could have done is maybe condemn the Warwick off Sona, but I don't think it would have mattered there. It's just not really important. So, okay, and so that right there, that's too aggressive of a trade. Too aggressive. Yeah, you traded pretty evenly with that Soraka, but it doesn't matter because you're trading with a Soraka who's just going to heal all of that damage up, and now you're hurt, and in about 3 seconds when Soraka's heal goes off cooldown, she'll be like full HP again. Not worth it. So you need to play very carefully when you're that low of HP, and that's why. Graves Buckshot does a lot of damage. So I would just go back right now. It's not worth staying so low health. When you're this low health, you're just gonna get zoned anyway. So why stay? You could actually kill that Soraka. Yeah, good. You recognize that. Yeah, okay, good heads up play. You're like, yeah, that Soraka was way out of position. I will say, like there were many opportunities to condemn there. And I mean, maybe you thought that you weren't quite in range, but like if Soraka's here and just hitting her this way, it's still probably gonna pin her. And even if it doesn't, since that's what you're leveling, like you need to get that off because you have a lot of damage invested in your condemn because that's what you're leveling up. So I haven't been really focusing on like the lower level mechanical stuff like last hitting, because it seems like you're doing pretty well with that. I mean, yeah, you're behind, but like they've been pushed to your turret this whole time, and you're hitting these really well. So, oh man, Flash missing the Flash ulti on Sona is not good. He definitely probably would have killed Graves there. Soraka might have been close enough to heal him, but okay, this is too aggressive, I think. Well, actually, you got a kill, but you're gonna end up dying. Okay, so and here's one thing, and I talked about this in my first lesson with Hydroponic Moth. Your exhaust was up that whole time, so don't be stingy with your summoner spells when you're fighting. You could have survived and probably killed Graves even, or at least forced him back if you had used exhaust. At least LeBlanc picked up the kill, but yeah, there's no reason to not use exhaust there, so don't be stingy. Yeah, and Tiza, you're being hard on yourself, but it's fine. Like you tumble, hit the minion, and yeah, that's bad, but that wasn't the problem there. The problem there was being a little too aggressive. So one thing, you were out of, like, this is the problem with playing bot lane and solo queue. You and Sona weren't on the same page. You went hyper aggressive and went in here when Sona was still back here. If you were together, that would have been much better. And I mean, you picked up the Soraka kill, and like I said, if you had exhausted Graves, you definitely would have lived, possibly even killed him. So don't be afraid to use exhaust. I mean, he does have cleanse, so he probably just would have cleansed it actually, but still, I mean, you gotta take exhaust, or you gotta use exhaust in that situation, so. I think I'm getting a message in the wall. One sec, let me read this. So, one thing you'll see is, like, the junglers have pretty much ignored bottom lane. Warwick came to gank once. And, Udyr, I don't know if that counts as a gank, he just kind of ran into the lane. One thing I do want to mention about your item build is 3 Dorans is a bit much. I would just leave it at 2. I don't think you really need the 3 Dorans. I don't think it's worth it. This is kind of a risky... Okay, never mind, mid's dead. Or I guess that's top. Well, now mid's dead, so that's fine, that's a good dragon. I was gonna say it's kind of risky because like bot lane was up, but that's fine. It's a good play. Good job timing. That's something I need to work on. I never time dragons and stuff, but it's just so helpful for a team to be prepared for all of the buffs. So, oh man, Vayne has red buff now, so now you're gonna have to play really passive and really try to avoid trades. So the thing with Vayne is, like, Vayne can be really strong in the laning phase if you're landing condemns, especially if that's what you're leveling. But if you don't get the opportunity to land condemn, she's actually really weak in the laning phase. Good. Use the... Okay, so yeah, this should definitely be some kills. Okay, again, I'm going to mention you still have exhaust up. None of you died, which is fine, but as soon as that Grave used Cleanse, you could have exhausted him, and you would have prevented a lot of this damage that your team took. Like, if they had a support that wasn't Soraka there, you might have died, because you got really low just from the Graves damage. And if they had a support that did a little bit of damage, like an Alistar or Taric or something, probably would have been death for you. So, just don't be so stingy with this exhaust. I don't think you've used it all game, actually. It's 20 minutes in, and I don't think you've used exhaust, so don't be as stingy. That was a good initiate by Sona. Udyr was coming, and Graves was way pushed up, and let Udyr close distance, so that was a pretty good play. But yeah, like I was saying, so Vayne's early game is pretty weak unless you can land Condemns, especially if you're leveling Condemn. When you level Condemn, you're 100% banking your like pretty much entire game on landing Condemns. Okay, so actually you got out. I was gonna say, kind of trading those hits with that Warwick there and kind of trying to fight him, way too aggressive there. I think you ended up taking like 400 to 500 damage you didn't have to. Like, you could have stayed in lane to wait for this wave to hit turret if you just ran out of there right after the Warwick ult, if you just pinned him and ran. But that's okay. You're still last hitting well. Relatively. Like, I mean, whatever. 24 CS behind Graves when he's been that pushed to your turret all day is not terrible. But Graves is pretty fed with kills, so... That's another thing. When you get behind in a lane on Vayne, oh man, it's hard to. It's really, really hard to play aggressive. You have to play super passive. So. So far, the things that I'm seeing with Vayne is you're pretty aggressive, too aggressive, I'd say, especially against like a Soraka lane. You're too willing to trade blows. Even though they're gonna heal up that trade a lot easier than you are. So the other thing is that you need to watch positioning in lane for condemns. You need to try to always angle yourself so that you have the easiest time condemning. Like, you know they're in this brush, so instead of being right here, be over here. Like, if you were over here, as soon as that Soraka popped out the silencer, you could have silenced her, stunned her before the silence even came. So you need to be very careful. Good, you're staying very far away. That was a good condemn. So you ran out. That smoke screen scared you, but you didn't need to run out because Udyr was running into the turret. But that's okay. I think Udyr's gonna live. That's a good play. You guys are fine. So good gank by Udyr. One thing to note is Udyr didn't run up the river right here. Udyr ran all the way around, all the way down here, so it's total surprise, and they're absolutely screwed. It's not one of those things where Udyr's coming from the river and they're running this way and it's a chase. It's Udyr coming here, and they're like, oh god, Udyr, and they can't get away from that, so... So yeah, okay, so the biggest things that I'm noticing in your laning phase is just too aggressive and trading blows when you shouldn't be. And when you're leveling E on Vayne, pretty much the only time you can be aggressive or be willing to trade blows at all is going to be if you land a condemn. LeBlanc's going to get that kill. LeBlanc was trying to save her ult, I guess, so she didn't use it. Wow, nice play. Okay, so good condemn on the work. That's actually going to save the LeBlanc. One thing I want to note is you tanked like 2 or 3 turret hits for that LeBlanc. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that absolutely saved LeBlanc getting hit by those turret hits. Because who knows if it would have gone for a clone or her, but it completely saved her. Sorry, I'm not watching the action. Oh wow, they're getting dove. Nice use of tumble to escape. So the flash tumble is very long range actually, so that was good. And then it was a nice pin on Warwick. That was just pretty solid play right there. One thing I will say though is that when you win on this Vlad right here, and you condemned him into this brush, I think that's one thing to always be aware of, vision with brush when you go for a condemn. because you condemned him into this brush, you lost sight on him, and you lost a lot of damage because you had to like walk up into him. And if you had angled the condemn a little bit this way to pin him on the wall without the brush, I think you would have killed him without having to tower dive. So I think, yeah, you guys can definitely contest this. But you shouldn't be the one running in. Udyr should be the one running in. I don't know why Udyr's not going. There you go, getting a lot of free hits on Soraka at least. Looks like you guys didn't get that, but that's okay. You should be exhausting this Graves. Your exhaust is still up. This is a big team fight, and people are dying. You're gonna die. No, okay, you're gonna live. I lied, but still, and your exhaust is still up. You gotta use this exhaust. I don't know if you're just not used to running exhaust, but it's been 25 minutes, still no exhaust. So use that exhaust. Don't be stingy. This might be a recurring theme in these lessons. I'm not sure, but don't be stingy with your spells. Now this Vlad can die. Like, you have exhaust up, so this Vlad, like, no ult, no ignite, because he used both of those in the fight. There you go. There's the big E burst. Oh man, big burst damage. There's the exhaust. If you land a condemn on this guy, you can die. This is an okay chase. Nice, there you go. Good play, good play. And back to the whole leveling E thing. When you're doing a Graves like that right now, actually you have rank 5 tumble at this point, so it's okay. But when you're leveling E, like, and you're dueling someone, if it all comes down to if you land that E, because if you do, you're probably going to win that duel. But if not, you're probably going to lose. I don't know if you tumbled his Q or not. I wasn't paying attention. That's one nice thing you can do with Graves against, or with Vayne against Graves though, is you can probably tumble his Q, no problem. I just tried to level up your W because I saw the plus. I tried to click it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much else to say about this game. Good silence by LeBlanc to save that Sona. If you can come in and clean up big. Nice. That Soraka silence saved that Vlad from getting pinned. I saw that. But you should get him here. Yeah. At this point, you're doing that Vayne thing where you're just like wrecking everyone, so. Oh man, if you had been just a little more to the left on that condemn, I would have easily killed that Graves. Let's go. So at this point, it's your guys' game to lose. Like, you're 8-3 now with 165 CS. You're really far ahead. LeBlanc's really far ahead. She has a Soul Stealer and 9 stacks. So yeah, the only thing that you have to watch out for is Gragas right now. Like, Gragas is pretty fed right now. 200 CS, Death Cap, Void Staff. He might even be able to just two-shot you with his barrels. So you have to be really careful with that, especially as Vayne. You gotta watch his ult, make sure you don't get caught by that ult out of position. But this is definitely your game to lose. You're in a really good spot. Excuse me. So just to reiterate some of the things I saw in lane, when you're playing Vayne, always be aware of your positioning for condemns. Wow, the Vlad had randomly ulted way over here. Yeah, okay, so at this point you're just like invincible Vayne, which is fine. You're just diving turrets and you don't even care, so. This game's pretty much over, unless they get some strong focus on you. Their Vladimir's 1-9, so. So yeah, in lane, just watch your trades, especially against like a Soraka lane. You're way too aggressive. And you're trading a lot when you shouldn't have been. Yeah, then try to, like, bot lane's really hard in solo queue, but try to be on the same page as your support. Like, try to be in general near them. But you know, if you want to be aggressive and engage, you just have to do it, and then hope they follow up. So. And use exhaust. Your first exhaust came at like 25 minutes, where it probably wasn't necessary. Don't be so stingy with it. even if Graves just cleanses it, whatever. And now he doesn't have cleanse for like an Udyr stun or Sona ulti or something. So there, I think you could have E'd instead of gotten that first right click off on Graves, and you definitely would have killed if that E landed. So. Okay. My friend is saying that he used exhaust when Warwick came down an altar in the bot lane. That was the first time. Okay. So 2 times in 30 minutes. That's on a 210-second cooldown. 3.5 minutes. So I think you just need to be less stingy with exhaust, but that's fine. Yeah, this game is quickly running away. I don't like the Phage. I think you should just go like double Phantom Dancer at this point. In general, so in general in Vayne, I like Eye Edge over Bloodthirster. If you have sustain land like Sona, I don't think you really need the lifesteal from Bloodthirster. I think you'd be fine with Eye Edge, and if you really want the lifesteal, just get a Vamp Scepter and don't upgrade it. And then I think you should go double PD. Alright, so one thing I want to say there is I know you got like tunnel vision going in for a kill. That was very aggressive and a horrible play by the other team because they could have killed you very easily. Like the Gragas ulted you this way, but if he ulted you into a turret, you were easily dead. And it was all to go hyper aggressive on a 1 in 10 Vlad. That's not even worth it. Like it would have been like 30 gold. To give them your legendary killing spree if you died there. So that was way too aggressive of a play. Don't worry about that. That's the easiest way to turn this game around would be if you were to make a play like that, where you give up your legendary killing spree, you lose your Baron, and you die. They would actually might be able to get back into that game. So be very careful with that. Like it's not worth chasing kills on people who are 1 in 10. Like here, you might, yeah, you're probably gonna die here, and this is the same thing. Way too aggressive on a 1 in 10 Vladimir. Their whole team was missing. All we saw was Vladimir here, and you win and all that, and that's just too aggressive and not worth it at all. We'll see if your team does okay. You've gotten a lot of your team's kills lately, so you're definitely... I think your team might be hurting without you, but the other team seems pretty bad, to be honest, so they'll probably be just fine. And you guys have Baron too, so... Well, at this point, Udyr's probably just gonna go crazy. There's the cleanse! So it looks like you're building Trinity Force. I'm not the biggest fan of Trinity Force on Vayne. I think like it's so expensive. You could get an Infinity Edge and do way more damage, or just second Phantom Dancer and Last Whisper. I don't. They're not building armor, so never mind. They're so afraid of the LeBlanc. They all built Magic Resist. And then you just destroy them, so whatever. But yeah, instead of Triforce, I would go like either second Phantom Dancer in Infinity Edge or just Infinity Edge. And I would go Infinity Edge instead of Bloodthirster, honestly. But I think it's fine. Like Vayne scales so well with anything that it doesn't really matter. If you go to the shop and go at damage and buy like anything here, it's gonna be fine. Even Rageblade. No, I'm just kidding. Don't buy Rageblade. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I think I might just stop commentating this at this point. This is just a stomp. So I guess the game's almost over. So I'll stick it out. But when you're laning with Vayne, just be aware of trading. You're very weak, especially if you're leveling E on Vayne. If you don't land the E, don't fight. Don't even trade. It's just not worth it. Because if you don't land the E, you're pretty much fighting with like a rank 3 skills. Like your skills are the same level as if you're level 3. So just a little thing in terms of focus there. You came in, you killed the Warwick, who was low health, which was good, and then Graves was in range of your auto attacks, but you started hitting Vlad instead. And I mean, the Vlad is 2 and 12. You don't have to worry about the Vlad. But the Graves, you could have easily killed Graves. So just a little thing about focus. It was good focus killing the low health Warwick, but then like you're right here and Graves is right here. You could have easily killed Graves. Or Soraka even. Both of those would be better targets than the 2 and 12 Vlad, so. Yeah, you guys are gonna win right here, so. Overall, that was a pretty good game, Tiza, but just the little things to watch for with Vayne is just be very careful about trading. And watch your positioning with condemns in lane. There are a lot of times that you could have condemned a lot earlier also. One thing I'm noticing with your play is that when you see someone lined up with condemn, you try to tumble in, get an auto attack, and then condemn, and that's fine. But there's like a 1-2 second delay there between when you could have condemned and when you are condemning, and that makes a huge difference. Like you've missed like 3 or 4 condemns because of that delay. So just something to watch for. Use exhaust more in like small fights and in general. Use it early in fights. Like I know Graves is running cleanse, which makes it harder to use exhaust, but and that's another thing. One thing to consider with Vayne is to take cleanse over exhaust. I like cleanse a lot more than exhaust on Vayne because, like, if they're running exhaust and they exhaust you can just cleanse it and kill them because Vayne's gonna win pretty much any duel. So. Yeah, it saves you from any kind of CC, like if they had like Tarek Suns or anything like that, or Sona ulti if you're against a Sona, the cleanse can save you there. So Orphans is saying, what would you cleanse though? Because they have no CC, and that's for true. They don't have any CC. You can cleanse Soraka Silence. But yeah, and that's a good point. I guess I still like taking cleanse though, because you never know if they're gonna have exhaust, and so which they didn't have exhaust, which is silly. Like I don't know why they don't have any exhaust, but it's okay. Yeah, okay, this is gonna be game right here. Probably gonna ace them, and then they're probably gonna surrender. Sony getting caught.
Rampage.
It's okay, LeBlanc's gonna kill everyone. Killing everyone. It's definitely what Vayne does. Alright, so pretty good game. Gonna reiterate again, but the things to watch for with Vayne is watch how you're trading in lane, especially against the Soraka lane. If you're trading even damage, you lost because Soraka is gonna sustain that way better than you are. Watch your positioning as far as condemns go. Try to always be lined up so that you can get easy condemns. You missed a couple because of that. Try out leveling Q instead of E. See what you think. I used to level E on Vayne, but I like leveling Q a lot more just because it's much more consistent damage that you can rely on. Yeah, so that's about it. Alright, so I'm going to end the recording for this this game, and then our next game that I'm going to be doing, it's a lower level game. It's like a level 18 game, so it's probably going to be a little different play. I'm a little interested to see what kind of meta we get for the low level game, but let's